Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the participants to the third day of our faculty development program. We are glad to have your continued presence and enthusiastic participation, and we look forward to another insightful day of sessions. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Jinsi Elias. Ms. Jinsi Elias is a professor at SH College of Nursing, Chertala. She completed her post-graduation from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Science, Bangalore, and brings over 13 years of rich teaching experience. She has several publications in national and international indexed journals and with expertise in adult health nursing, research, and management. Today, she will be handling a session on nurturing the nurture, promoting mental health and well-being of teachers. This session mainly focuses on the importance of mental well-being of among teachers. We are delighted to have her with us. Ma'am, I warmly invite you to take over the session.
Thank you for the introduction. The slides are clear.
Yes, Miss.
So thank you for the introduction and a warm good afternoon to one and all. Let me take a moment to thank the opportunity given me as the resource person in the FDP program, which is organized by Jyothi Engineering College in association with the Indian Conflict Institute. So here, along with the engineering topic, it is the day 4 where you are discussed different aspects. Even it was concerned nurturing the nurturer. That is, the teachers was taking care or the faculties was taking care of the students or even the academic aspects. There, the well-being of the nurturer also very important and need to consider very much where we need to maintain a well-being or to promote the mental health as well as the well-being of the teacher. So we expect or we saw the teachers as a noble profession or teaching as a noble profession where the Vedic tradition emphasizes the teacher's mind must be clear, noble, and steady as it is the medium through which the knowledge is transmitted. So it is very happy to see that or very identifiable changes can be noted as the teacher's mind should be clear and it should be steady so that it will be beneficial. It is beneficial for the students or the audience who are receiving the information and even for the better academic performance. So now let's think whether always can we be clear, can we be steady without any changes, without any stress, or do we need to find difficulty to maintain the well-being? There the question comes, where does teacher well-being matters? Or only we are just imparting the knowledge? When many studies are conducting, either in the medical aspects or even non-medical aspects, to identify what about the professional stress which is maintained or is there among the teachers. It was indicated as more than 74% to 80% of teachers experience significant level of stress or even anxiety, which may be facing the changes, which can in turn result to the burnout syndrome. Burnout syndrome, which is not even a medical changes, the physical changes, physiological changes, which can be resulting towards the performance of the individual. So this shows is the role of a teacher. It's just teaching, imparting knowledge, along with the academic requirements. There are so much of listed, unlisted accreditations, maintaining documentations, then publications to change, to bring the upliftment where the awarding, then the recording system. At the same time, we need to maintain the academic performance in the best level. So all these matter, all these aspects bring the teachers to the phase of academic pressure, where we can identify each person, even belongs to different profession. I'm also continuing with the teaching profession from the last 13 years, where even the audience is different, where the workload or even the requirements, it remains almost the similar in whatever the stream, which may put to the academic pressures. So the reality, what we need to identify it as the high burnout rate or compassion fatigue and even increasing administrative demands. So for today's section will help us to move from the phase of surviving to thriving in this professional environment, which demands the professional upliftment with a better well-being, the mental well-being. So now we'll move on. What is a healthy mind? Are we healthy enough? Is it only the physical health matters or the mindful health also matters? A healthy mind is not just about the absence of the stress, it's about cultivating the purity and goodness to ignite the intellect of the student. So once the person who imparting the knowledge, the person who presenting the aspect, if the person's mind emotionally well, then it could able to light up the intellectual capacity of even the student. So teachers caring for their mental health, it's not just strengthen their own mental aspects or their own resilience, but also create a healthier, more nurturing spaces for the student. So it matters much to being mentally and physically healthy. All may be focusing on the physical health, how to maintain the exercises, how to maintain the good food, healthy food, focusing on the exercise aspects to maintain the physical health. The same or even more than that, the mental health also matters. And that's very nice to be listened as be stable, don't be stressed. Is it possible in this environment in this, where we are working, where we are compensating, where we need to adjusting, is it possible to remain as stable? Yes, we could be. Then only we could able to move on with healthier aspect. Again, the question comes, but how? How we could able to? There it comes, the major pillars of well-being, where we start with individual. As an individual pillar, we belongs to a society or a family, a social group is surrounding us, where we can consider it as a social pillar, and we belongs to one or the other institution, where we can name it as an institutional pillar. So institutional pillar, we will keep little aside, where the institutional pillar focus on the policy changes, the workload management, and even the resources what we are available for our working environment to maintain the academic needs and the accreditation needs. All other needs will be met by the institutional pillars. Even the institution has taken under this FDP program, taken a step to consider the well-being of the faculty members so that they could able to maintain a healthier environment within the institution. So where as an individual profession, where we need to focus on the individual pillar as well as the social pillar, because each individual can play a major role. Each individual can maintain a role to control their own individual aspects, their own social aspects. The individual pillars may include our own personal habits, our own boundary setting, our own interest, our own area of working. All these aspects, the individual pillars include. Whereas the social pillar, the peer support, mentoring, the collaborative culture, how we are engaging with the society, how we are involving with the family and the friends, and even the social surroundings, all these could be able to control by ourselves. So the individual pillars and social pillars matters much for this section today. Whereas even the institutional pillars also equally important as individual and even social pillar. Whereas we individually cannot make a major role in that. Individually, we could able to control ourselves, maintain a role by controlling the individual pillar of well-being and even the social pillar of well-being. To maintain the different pillars of well-being, we have different dimensions to practice and different dimensions to maintain the practice as a self-care. So self-care, each one of us, we are individually responsible for maintaining the different aspects of our practice of self-care, the multi-dimensional, the different dimensions which is directly and indirectly related with our professional and personal life need to be controlled and need to be maintained so that we could able to maintain a better well-being. We'll see different dimensions. Mainly we can list the dimensions as emotional self-care, physical self-care, psychological self-care, relationship self-care, workplace and professional self-care. So we start from our own emotional, physical, psychological. Then it comes to the social aspects, the relationships, self-care, as well as the social area where we are, that is our workplace, and even the professional self-care. So we'll see each one in detail. We start with the emotional self-care. So the term emotions is familiar, where we connect with the emotions. So how we can take care of the emotional care or self-care? So emotional self-care, which involves recognizing, processing, and managing emotions to support mental well-being and resilience. Our own emotions, how we can control our own emotions, how we need to manage the different emotions. For that, different strategies can be maintained. The first and foremost, we need to consider as me time, our own time. Individual persons will be having whatever the common profession we are following, whatever the professional areas we are working, the institutions where we are working, we ourselves are individually different, our own interest of area. Always, we need to remember what I am. What am I? So dedicate the personal time to recharge and disconnect from our daily stresses. So when we involve in our own passionate area, it's not the whole day, the 24 into 7 could not be able to, where even we spend either 10 minutes, either in a half an hour daily, or weekly spend 1 or 2 hours, where we could able to recharge ourselves, we could able to reinforce ourselves, we could able to motivate ourselves and disconnect from our daily stresses. Then another aspect or strategy to maintain emotional self-care, it is practice self-compassion. So individual, when somebody is telling us finding some difficulty while facing or while doing some this activity and facing some problem, if somebody is explaining their problems individually, we may be very good enough to take care of us. Or giving advices, it's very good to give advices. But what about ourselves? When we are in problem, are we able to advise ourselves? Yes, we could be able to. We should advise, we should maintain or practice a self-compassion. Each person who is good enough to take care of others, we need to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding what you offer to others. Because even when stressed, just take a pause and say, this is moment of suffering. To take a pause, it's very difficult. Or to understand it is a real fact of the life that is really difficult. But once you practice, once you try, first day will be difficult, second day will be difficult, but even the difficulties, it's a part of our life. We cannot stay away from difficulties. We cannot run away from the stress. But how we need to cope up with that? first and foremost, we need to treat ourselves with kindness and understand how we make others understand it. That is by practice self-compassion. Just take a pause, even it is a phase of stress, and say, this is a moment of suffering. And this suffering, it's not throughout the life, it's a part of the life. It get modified. May not be resolved completely, always all the stress, but it gets modified so that each one of us get adjusted to the stress and may able to move forward. Then another strategy we can practice, it is the practice gratitude. Practice gratitude, everyone will be very happy if you get some appreciation after doing some activities. But now each and every one is the best and better way they are doing performing. So it's not possible to appreciate everyone in a society, in a group, because everyone is doing the best way. So it becomes a usual pattern to appreciate or usual pattern giving the awards. It could not be possible. It will be selected as the best out of the best. Then the question comes, is our own actions, the daily actions, is it negligible? No. It is, of course, not negligible. It is highly valued. So who has to value that? Just note the moments of joy and appreciate during the day to focus on our positive aspects of the profession. We can just pat on our own shoulder, look at the mirror and just pat on our shoulder, where even very small activities like even the day what we have completed, our own tasks, we could able to achieve is smaller achievements. We completed what are listed tasks which is given to the today. Even a minor actions, somebody from others or the other group may not be able to or will not be notified that, but we individually can notify our own success, our own actions, and our own moments of joy. Appreciate yourself. Just pat on your shoulder. Say yourself, well done. You completed, you achieved. Keep going, which helps to motivate. So, which indirectly set your emotions, maintain your emotions, which enhance for your better work. Then recognize the early signs of burnout. So once we go to the phase of the burnout, even it is not a medical condition which reflects many medical problems because of the occupational intolerance or even as listed as a occupational phenomenon. So beware of the signs like constant fatigue, frustration, apathy, and seek help before they become very severe once identified with the burnout. So these are certain signs of the burnout. And even the World Health Organization, that is the WHO, defines the burnout as an occupational phenomenon, not just as a medical condition, where even though we need medical assistance, but it is resulting from the chronic, unmanaged workplace stress. So before the features occurs, we need to control our stress, should not focus, should not become as a burnout syndrome victim, where the person may be presenting with different features. Initially, maybe the lack of motivation, feeling tired without any reason, feeling exhausted, drained out, difficulty in concentrating, frequent without any reasons, the unreasoned frequent headaches, and even which can reflect over the performance, decreased performance, increased irritability, not interested to involve in any of the social activities, gradually presented with the physical symptoms. Physical symptoms may not be noticeable physical symptoms, only because with a chronic headache, maybe symptoms of the stomach upset, maybe muscle ache, different vague features, not focusing as a single disease, but presenting with different abnormalities. Seek help before they become very severe, and this could be able to control by controlling different dimensions of our well-being. Once we consider with our different aspects of the self-care, we could able to control the burnout syndromes. So what we saw, it is aspects of the emotional self-care. So now we are ready to control our emotions, maintain our emotions by maintaining emotional self-care, also the physical self-care. Physical self-care, now in this present world, all are very enthusiastic to maintain a physical self-care, focusing on maintaining the physical energy, preventing the diseases, listening to the body signs to boost overall well-being, the mood, and even daily functionality. So physical self-care, it's not just maintaining the physical body. It indirectly improves or boosts up our mental capacity, mood, and even daily activities. And how we could able to maintain that physical self-care, the sleep and fatigue management. Everyone says like maintaining the sleep, adequate sleep, it is very important. Otherwise, the person may go to the phase of exhaustion. The fatigue management, which could be able to maintain, or which need to be maintained to maintain a physical self-care. So we can able to prioritize the hours of sleep. Hours of sleep, not just as just uh, in the namesake, we are just lying down and closing the eyes. How our body needs rest, like the brain also needs rest, so that the next day the body and even the mind with the brain could able to maintain the maximum function. So we need to prioritize minimum 7 to 9 hours. That is, we can say 8 hours of sleep is necessary for a proper body function. Establish a strict, relaxing nighttime routine. So this we can able to manage with the 888 rule. 888, that is the 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, and remaining 8 hours which can be utilized for the social activities, interacting with the family, if any social functions are there, if any cultural activities are there, utilizing the remaining 8 hours. So dividing this 24 hours in three different 8 hours, we could able to maintain both emotional, mental, social, physical, psychological well-being. That need to be focused by maintaining the rule of 888 rule. The next important aspect is physical movement. Integrate exercise into daily routine. So now everyone will be focusing on the physical health, going to gym, doing the exercises, and some now may be thinking like even could not able to complete the professional aspects and even the personal, the family time also not 24 hours is not even enough. Then how can I go for the exercises they as a daily routine? Even it is not just going for a jogging, going to the gym and doing the daily exercises. With our routine aspect, we can take short breaks, micro breaks can be taken, which gives movements to our body parts. In the same sitting position, how we are listening to the section, likewise, you can stretch your upper extremity, that is the hands and even the legs, which gives a stretching exercise. Even after the lunch, just go for a 10 minutes walk, which could able to integrate the physical movements to the body. Even the next movements could able to maintaining the posturing, everything need to be maintained properly so that the physical movement also involving unknowingly without imparting a special time for doing exercises. Those who are in regular exercises, well and good, need to maintain a healthy body, need to maintain a healthy mind so that we could able to perform or daily activities could be at its maximum performance. Then our interested area as the nutrition and the hydration. Of course, we listen many times, even the current climate, it demands need to be stay hydrated. And regarding the healthy meal, the food, what all things we are taking, it should be able to maintain our health and even avoid skipping the lunch, as well as may have a habit of consuming either caffeine or tea during the office hours. So that we think with that small quantity, without spending much time for our nutritious aspect, we could able to complete our professional work. But day by day, it take off our health. So keeping off our lunch or even missing meals, either breakfast, lunch, or even what are necessary nutritions once it is skipping and replacing it with caffeinated items or high sugar content items, which indirectly affects our physical health. And another important aspect in our current lifestyle, it limits the exposure to sunlight, which may cause a deficiency of a vitamin, which is named as vitamin D. But we heard during our school days, like different vitamins are there. These are concerned as micronutrients. Yes, these are named as micronutrients. Even these micronutrients, which is essential for our body, and the deficiency of vitamin D, which can result in fatigue, persistent body pain, or even muscle weakness, and even can affect our mood. So you can imagine those who are physically maintaining everything, those who are doing adequate sleep, those who are maintaining good physical exercises, those are maintaining the nutrition, those are maintaining the hydration, all the aspects are taken care. But exposure to sunlight is not there because our working hours even demands to stay much of the time inside where no exposure to sunlight, where possibilities are there to have the deficiencies of vitamin D, which have again the vague symptoms, unknowingly presented with fatigue, muscle weakness, and lack of concentration, even not able to perform well, which will be reflecting on our daily performance. So, what can we do? It's not possible to move out even our working hours, where the supplement, if regular checkups need to be done, so that we could verify whether our all nutritions, what we are maintaining, is it adequate? Or do we need any supplementation? If it is needed, it need to be taken so that our performance, the daily functions can attain to its maximum level. Then another aspect, we move on to the third dimension, that is psychological self-care. With the psychological self-care, it is a self-care for teachers, which involves their proactive strategies to manage the stress, avoid the burnout, and even the mental, maintaining the mental well-being. So how we can maintain the psychological self-care? Of course, we start from ourselves. So we start with self-acceptance. We are very good to teach the students that each student is not having the similar capacity, individual differences are there, and the performance of individual, it will be different. Very good in giving the lectures. Are we able to accept it? That is very important. In a psychological aspect, the self-acceptance, possessing a positive attitude toward oneself. We accept what our strength we have. Same acceptance to be given to the weakness. At the same level, what strength I have, certain weakness also I have. But there are strategies. Understanding my weakness, what strategy I can take to take over the weakness, or how well I can utilize my strength to overcome my weakness. That can be utilized only after having a self-acceptance. Then, environmental mastery. Again, even we belong to the aspect of teaching, then it is not the same environment what we are using. It is not the same environment in the same institution. It is not utilized by everyone. So managing our own environment, controlling complex activities, and making effective use of surroundings. Again, it's a way of acceptance. How well we could able to utilize our environment, our resources, so that our performance can be improved by improving the psychological well-being. The third aspect, it is autonomy. Autonomy, we have some sort of independence in performing our action. So we should have the self-determination and independence and ability to resist social pressures to think or act in certain ways. How we need to perform in each situation. It's not the same way where we could able to plan and perform always. In each area, each performance, how it should be. It should be decided by ourselves. That autonomy is trusted with us. Self-determination has to be maintained for the psychological well-being. In the last section, it is stress reduction. Even though we accepted ourselves, we mastery over our environment, we have the self-determination or utilize the autonomy for its better functioning, still stress is not away. Stress is quite near to us. How we could able to tackle the stress? Again, we cannot run away from the stress. Different ways are there. So practice deep breathing. So we start with the first breathing, then mindful movements or just stretching exercises to break up long periods of standing or even sitting, and even some medical terms are added, that is cortisol level. We'll come to each one. So we'll start with the breathing exercise. Those who are practicing the yoga maybe heard about the benefits of the breathing exercises. So what it is shown, it is a type of simple breathing exercise, what we name it as pursed lip breathing. It is using the lip, we control breathing, and it is pursed lip. How you blow the candle. If suppose a lighted candle is there, how you just blow out the lighted candle, we attain it, the lips together with the shape of a purse. That's why it is named as a pursed lip breathing. So this pursed lip breathing, it is a simple breathing techniques. And some may be thinking why the breathing techniques is included in the stress management. Of course, it is a respiratory exercise which usually given for the respiratory patients, the chronic respiratory patients. Heard about the asthma conditions, likewise the asthma patients. In order to improve their respiration aspects and not only just controlling the respiration, by controlling the respiration, it improves the ventilation of our body and able to maintain adequate level of oxygen in the body and able to remove unnecessary or unwanted carbon dioxide from the body. So that by maintaining the respiratory rate, by controlling the work of the breathing, it causes relaxation. It causes relaxation by calming the nervous system. All may be familiar with the term blood pressure. And stress and blood pressure always it might be related. Where here with this exercise, even we could able to control the heart rate within the normal range and even lower the blood pressure. So we'll want to just take a practical section of the pursed lip breathing. As the figure shows, the first step is we need to sit straight, relax, and take a breathe in through the nose with a mindful count of 1, 2. Breathe in, hold the breath for 3 seconds, then exhale, that is breathe out with a mindful count of 1, 2, 3, 4. So first, those who are watching this, just try to practice it or try to do it yourself. We'll do it together. Take the breathe in, inhale with the count of 1, 2. No need to count it loudly. We can count it within our mind as 1, 2. Hold it for 2 seconds. Then breathe out. Breathe out not through the nose, through the mouth. And how the mouth should be? In a pursed way. Like how we are blowing a lighted candle in a pursed way. Breathe out. And breathe out. It is not a first breathing out. Take the double time. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. So this exercise has to be practiced several times. Again, you may be asking, like how many times we can do it? Do it several times. 4 or 5 times in a day, you can repeat. Once you practice in your daily, it is very beneficial to control your breathing and improve the ventilation and to provide relaxation. To some extent, we could able to control our respiration so that relaxation will be improved. And again, the more advantage is not, there is no need to have a specific area, then a free space or the self space. Even in a group, we could able to perform. When we ourselves feel stressed, inhale, hold it, exhale. Do it several times, relax. So that once you practice it, it improves your relaxation, it controls your respiration, and helps to control your stress. So, like first, how you're controlling the respiration or the breathing. Another way, which is routinely what we are exposed, the posture what we are in. Maybe a long duration, we need to maintain the posture while we are focusing on or back of our accreditation, the documentations, the uploading publications. Likewise, when we may not be able to identify what the time duration, what we're spending behind that. And there we need to consciously control our posture. That is a healthy posture routine has to be practiced. Again, is it related with the stress? Of course, yes. Which supports our spine and the nervous system. Reduces the stress over the spine, prevents the tension and discomfort, and improves the energy as well as the focus. Once we maintain the posture, it enhances the ventilation. So the advantage of ventilation already we discussed under the breathing exercises. With this, again, it maintains the circulation as well as respiration so that we could able to get adequate oxygen. The whole body, even the brain needs oxygen only through proper circulation. Once we maintain the same posture, make sure that the posture is sit straight. Support the back so that no strain is received to your spine. And our nervous system is adequately oxygenated through a proper respiration, which could be able to maintain in a sitting straight posture. So healthy posture has to maintain as your routine practice. Now, we'll move on to another a medical term, which is named as cortisol, which is a hormone. And this hormone plays having many benefits are there, which helps to control our body activities, body functions, including the blood pressure control, everything is there. Whereas, if there is a chronic stress, can cause elevation in the cortisol level. Then how we can come to know that? Or how we could able to maintain the cortisol level? And every day, the high cortisol level is maintained immediately after our waking up. So if when we said, considering the previous slides or previous aspect, we said we need to maintain a physical self-care by having a proper sleep. The sleep hours has to be maintained properly. So with that sleep hours, once it is considered, after the midnight, the cortisol level will gradually increase. And at the time of the wake up, the cortisol level will be peak. And high cortisol, you can see the emoji, what it is shown, it is in red in color, which is not that beneficial. Only at the peak time of the morning time, if it is in the maximum level of cortisol, it enhances our body functions early in the morning. Whereas, suppose when we getting up with high stress, considering what are the aspects, what we need to consider, or what we need to complete during our office hours. What are the things we need to do by the end of today? Once we getting up with all different stressors, then from the normal peak level of cortisol, it elevates higher level. And the full day we running with the stress can result to chronic stress. So which results in sustained levels of the cortisol, resulting in anxiety. And as it continues, day 1, day 2, week 1, week 2, month 1, month 2, as it continues for a longer duration, which can result in weight gain and even hypertensive changes. So, how can we control? Anyway, cortisol is a hormone which is released from the body. We are not doing anything. But the release or the level can be maintained by us by maintaining regular exercises, maintaining a healthy body, and while getting up, have a regular pattern of getting up. If you have a habit of getting up 5 o'clock, get up at 5 o'clock. It's not like 5:15 we are getting up and saying like, oh, I'm getting 15 minutes late. The regular timing has to be practiced so that the level of cortisol can be maintained and it can be utilized for the better functioning or the proper functioning of our body. Then at the same time, certain psychological aspects also says certain food items are there. Suppose we practice with different measures and still we feel stressed, we could not able to control, we could not able to concentrate, we could not able to complete our work. First we need to concentrate, then only we could able to perform our action. That is not possible. So there are some tactics are there where we could able to control our stress by having certain dietary changes, which cannot be take it as a chronic usage, but in certain timings it could be able to use. Like the studies are showing eating the dark chocolate. It's not the regular chocolate of dairy milk or even the 5-star, even the munch. It's a dark chocolate where the taste is not much tastier, which effectively utilized to reduce the stress by lowering the cortisol. Again, only the small quantity of maximum of 40 grams is recommended. That is also dark chocolate, not for the taste. Whereas, which helps to maintain the cortisol level so that the stress can be reduced. And even the studies are showing like banana have the natural antioxidant as well as the natural food for reducing the stress to improve the mood, which produces certain amino acid, which is named as a tryptophan, which would be able to convert this tryptophan into the hormone serotonin, but we consider it as a happy hormone, so that our stress could be able to control. And even to some extent, orange also, which is an antioxidant, could able to control the cortisol level. But all these cannot be taken as a regular routine. At necessary situations, we can utilize it even with the other aspect so that we could able to control our stress or manage our anxiety. Now we covered with our psychological aspects and come to the relationship self-care. The relationship self-care involves intentionally maintaining our own physical, emotional, and mental well-being to foster a healthier partnership, ensuring do not lose your identity or become emotionally drained out. So different measures we can use. We can maintain independence in our own relationship. We can communicate the needs clearly so that the communication errors can be avoided, unnecessary anxiety or even the stress reasons can be avoided. Then scheduling individual downtime so that me time, it is fact. Even if in the relationship, the scheduling the individual downtime has to be practiced. Family and friends time that we need to socially active, involved in the social activities with the family, with the friends. And engaging in socialization as well as enjoy each moment. So with this, the social aspect, the relationships care also can be taken care of. Then we come to the last dimension, that is workplace and the professional self-care. The workplace as well as the professional self-care focus to prevent the burnout as well as it boosts our productivity. So how can we maintain the workplace or professional self-care? Setting strict boundaries between the work and personal time. We have to plan ourselves. Whatever the demands which is demanded by the institution, we need to able to plan it, perform the work within the time. If the scheduled time is 9 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever the time is created, it to be completed within that time. It's not taking beyond the time where we have to utilize for your personal time. The 888 rule has to be always keep in mind so that we could able to utilize our day, single 24 hours, very useful or divide it in a helpful manner. Taking regular breaks. These micro breaks can be taken so that refresh yourself, which can be stretching out exercises, just for few seconds, so that we could able to engage in the regular activities and we could able to boost the productivity. Then cultivating a supportive work environment. We need to identify which are our team members and how well we can utilize in our team members, how well we can involve in with our team members, so that the work environment also can be utilized with proper peer connection. Then utilizing wellness resources. The resources, whatever is available, has to be well utilized so that we are able to connect it well with the workplace and professional self-care. So covered with different dimensions, the 5 different dimensions of emotional, physical, psychological, then relationship, as well as the workplace self-care. Then what about the reality of the academic burnout? Even I said in the starting, what are the features of the burnout? Is it a real aspect? Whether any burnouts are present with the academic or only those who are having the physical labor is involving in the burnout syndrome. High rates of emotional exhaustion in higher education, maybe the key stressors reminds us, publish or perish the culture, administrative red tape, or even heavy grading load, as well as even the emotional labor. Emotional labor, which is the process of managing the feeling expressions to fulfill the emotional requirements of a job. So that even we are not able to maintain a happy face, but the job environment demands it. Like taking care of the students, we cannot able to simply just go and shout them. We cannot able to show our anger on only with necessary reason. If we show the anger, now the present scenario demands students need explanation why it does. So it says the emotional labor, it has become a part of our academic performance. Key mindful practices for the teachers. We need to set the boundaries in relationship as well as the professional distance. The teachers must be approachable, but it should not be a friendship with the students, maintaining a professional denominator to ensure objectivity and avoid favorism. Physical as well as the sexual boundaries have to be maintained to maintain a safe environment. Communication and even while utilizing the social media, using the official channels for communication and even avoiding personal social media connections and refraining from the late night or non-urgent messaging. Then keep an emotional and mental boundaries. Manage our own personal emotions in the classroom, maintaining composure and keeping professional life separate from the personal life to prevent the burnout. Then the time has to be spent for the personal life also. Confidentiality and even privacy has to be maintained, and we should have a fair apply the rules of power as well as the authority. Generally, there should be professional reflection, self-care, and track student growth. We should be able to identify what are the positives, where we need to modify. Is it is needed to have the full effort to train or to maintain the skillful of the students. The teachers, especially the beginners, need to utilize journaling to analyze the interactions and even connect daily classroom experiences with the pedagogical theories so that we could able to improve the teaching methods or track the student progresses and even identify the area of professional growth. Then practicing mindfulness. Now, taking intentional breath, actively listening to the students, all these actions, and even different measures. Physical stretch out, then just walking exercises, maintaining healthy diet, then hydrating yourself, and even breathing exercises, maintaining the cortisol level. All these are different measures to maintain track or practicing mindfulness. social support. Social support, socially active, where we give a professional administration, colleagues, parents, and even students, where the social support has to be maintained, the professional informational support, and even where the appraisal, if it is needed, has to be provided. Strong social support can decrease the feeling of isolation as well as depression. Even studies are showing will be the social support having a high impact on the performance, the individual performance, as well as even the institutional as well as the group performance. Now, establish the hard boundaries. It is very difficult most of the times, but once we practice, it has to become our part for a better well-being by maintaining a digital sunset. That is, set a time for ourselves. We determine our own time. Is it 7 o'clock? Is it 7:30? Is it 8 o'clock? Is it 9 o'clock? Is it 12 o'clock to stop checking the emails? That is, we ourselves need to set our boundary. Little difficult, little hard to maintain, but digital sunset has to be maintained. The physical separation. Once we move out of our physical institution, then have a dedicated office zone as well as leave it when you are off. Till the time you are there in the office, maybe till 4 o'clock, till 5 o'clock, whatever the time, utilize fully as your office zone. Whereas once you move out, utilize, switch on to the next 8 hours. Is it a social time period or is it utilized well for the sleep hours also? Then move on to the institutional resources. The institutional resources has the Jyothi Engineering College has taken an initiative to take over for promoting the well-being of the faculties, or employee assistance programs can be conducted, checkups can be organized, which could be completely free from the official activities where the extended or authorized permissions leave from the work has to be provided, and small trips can be arranged so that the mind can be well refreshed, can perform once they are back into the job, then completely dedicated to the office. Then as well as by maintaining the campus value. So by this, we come to different aspects of the well-being which need to be maintained by each faculty, each members. Those are concerned not only with the academic aspects. As it says, you cannot pour from an empty cup. We should be fulfilled. All the demands of our consumers, that is the students and even the institutions, only when we are completely filled. And that filling could be able to possible only by maintaining different dimensions of our self-care. So start with each dimension of self-care today. Practice each dimensions. Maintain the well-being of each dimensions, which is not possible within a day, within a week, but slowly bring it as your routine. Motivate your companion also to follow the same routine so that each institution will maintain as a healthier, even mentally well-being institutions. As the figure shows, trust is not a way, like shadows. We cannot run away from the shadow. One or the other time in our day, it will be reflected. Do we need to get scared of this shadow? Or do we can create positively with minimum resources, with the available environment, with our available facilities, how well we could able to create. With this, we need to understand stress is not a way. We cannot run away from the stress. We cannot run away from any of the anxious situation. How we need to deal it? Do we deal by getting it scared or do we create positively? By this, I conclude. Hope by this section, it was beneficial for everyone. At least you could able to identify certain aspects to enrich your mind, your brain, your physical well-being, so that each one of us as a nurturer could able to nurture ourselves by promoting the mental health and well-being. So thank you all for the active listening. And let me take this opportunity to thank you, the organizers, the management, as well as the organizers of Jyothi Engineering College, Principal Dr. P. Sojanlal, the convener, Dr. Alvin Burgess, HOD of Civil Department, and the coordinators, Mr. Alfred and Ms. Jeffy, for organizing such a wonderful sections and giving an opportunity for me to attend and even share a few sections which can even helpful for the promoting the mental health or even the mental well-being of the teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the beautiful session. If participants have any doubt, they can ask now. I hope everything is clear. Now, I invite Ms. Jisha Akkara, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, to kindly deliver the words of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey ma'am. Good afternoon, Jinxie ma'am. I would like to sincerely thank you for your such a warm and meaningful session. Thank you for accepting our invitation and sharing your thoughts with our participants. It really means a lot to us. The way you spoke about mental health felt very real and connected to our role as teachers. Your session helped us to understand the importance of physical self-care, psychological self-care, the relationship self-care, then workplace and professional self-care, the well-being of human beings. The simple breathing exercise was also very calming for and helpful for us. And we also listen your points about maintaining the cortisol levels and establishing the hard boundaries for our work time, etc. That was very useful for our daily life. Though this is in core engineering FDP, we include this session following the ACT FDP approach, as we believe as teachers well-being is just as important as a technical knowledge. Okay, thank you, Jinsi ma'am. Thank you once again for your time and for being with us today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jishamas. Now we move on to our next session. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Daniel Cruz, Senior Lecturer in School of Civil Engineering at University of Saints, Malaysia. He is an experienced researcher with expertise in structural engineering, particularly in seismic performance and damper technology. He has also previously served as an assistant professor at Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science, Chennai. Today, he will be delivering a session on energy analysis of composite structures in various regions in India. We are delighted to have him with us. Sir, I warmly invite you to take over the session.
So can I know my voice is audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
It's clear? Okay. Okay. So, so can I know today's like holiday in India, like in Kerala and Tamil Nadu because of election?
In Kerala, elections are over all day.
Over. Okay. Okay. Maybe in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Okay. So good. So welcome you all, and I'd like to thank the organizers, the starting from principal, head of the department, and all the coordinators for organizing this event. So today I'll be discussing about, actually we did this research work around nearly 1.5 years back. One of my master student named Arun Kumar. So he wanted to do a research related to BIM, and the initial discussion is like he was asking me why there are very less number of publication related to BIM. Uh, so and he wanted to learn because he was planning to go abroad for certain job opportunities. So he had various ideas. We are referring multiple literatures, and I found researchers were using different materials and different locations, different angles, right? Shifting the building into different angles. And researchers doing for residential buildings, small buildings, different dimensions. But he wanted to somehow have to publish, we will try, because the earlier institute where I'm working, the publication is mandatory for master students. So he just spent a little bit of time to do certain analysis, and it's a good work, and finally able to publish in a journal named Civil Engineering and Architecture. It's currently in Q2. It has been published. So I'm just uh, explaining how the workflow happens, starting from designing the buildings till the carbon emissions, energy analysis, everything. Okay. So my presentation agenda go through this point, like starting from the background, the problems, and how 3 steps my research work has been. The presentation is separated, the analysis part, the structural design, next the energy analysis part. Okay, the last one is the carbon emission part. So obviously the global energy is a major problem. Nearly 33% of carbon emission is because of AEC industries like architecture, engineering, and construction based industries. Okay, starting from cement or whatever it may be, we are the one. Uh, it's a range. Some article it is mentioned 40 more than that. And if you see, like nearly 30 to 40% of electricity from commercial building. So if I certain buildings in Chennai, it runs in the morning, night, different shifts, 24/7. It's run, right? It will be running because obviously they are working for projects in different countries, for US or UK or Europe projects. So there will be 3 shifts. So every time there will be people, the lights are on, right? Comparative than residential building, commercial building, like it spend more amount of electricity. Obviously, for a building, lifetime is 60, 80 years, or maximum say 100 years. When you design a commercial building, mostly after 50, 60 years, you have to renovate, and but till that time, it emit huge amount of carbon. Okay. In Indian context, if you see, obviously rapid urbanization in most of the cities, and some cities only in the main city areas you will find a huge amount of uh, buildings, commercial buildings. But maybe if you hardly travel 10 to 15 kilometers aside, you will find it a remote place. So based on the climate zones, so these zones were taken from literature. So they were separated based on like hot, humid, tropical, and so we have preferred 5 climatic zones for the analysis of commercial buildings. And the commercial building which we choose is for a uh, steel concrete composite. Okay, because in ETFs there is an option to just we like to see uh, like that is a separate work he did and published. So conventional article, conventional building versus the composite building. That's a very simple research task. So how in India this CO2 emissions for building sector is going on for these various zones, And the tools, there are two major tools were used in this research work. One is Green Building Studio, another one is Autodesk Insight. So these are the four major objectives, like starting from structural analysis. The tool which is used is ETAPS. Okay, so then energy analysis, then modeling using Revit architecture, then finally the optimizations. So this is a simple workflow starting from ETAPS to uh, Revit, then GBS as well as Insight in the sense Autodesk Insight. Okay, major carbon output, energy use intensity, and the Green Building Studio normally will done in Autodesk Cloud 360. Okay, or there are other options also earlier days, but now that's a preferable one. And Autodesk Insight, that is also another tool. It is easy to give a lot of inputs for any building, and these are all mostly cloud based. It is easy for us to get the results. So first thing we just explore about the building, composite building. It's a G+5 commercial building. So total floor area of 5,080 meters square per floors, and it has nearly 63 shops. And below the ground floor, it has two basements. Okay, and the total building height is ground plus around 28 meters, and ground has hardly somewhere around 10 meter. And the grade of concrete is M40, and the steel is Fe415. For composite section, it is ISWB 550. It's an I section. Somewhere around this I section has a thickness of somewhere around 12.5 in the flange and 10.5 or 10.7 in the web. And total, uh, so the height is 550 and maybe the width is somewhere around 250. Okay, I don't remember the exact dimensions. Uh, and service life, obviously, uh, we just designed this commercial building for 60 to 70 years. So this is the overview of the building and the composite columns and some of the important sections. As you see in the left end, so how the cross sections were made, and nearly 63 shops with two theaters having 150 numbers each, and many blocks, because in Revit there are options to provide various panels, blocks, walls. So most of them were given by double classed panels. But the outcome, if you see the last outcome, it's a preference that if you give three, then it will be better. Okay, that we'll be seeing in the upcoming slides. So rectangular column, circular column in different locations, these columns and uh, like different areas it is placed based on the modeling, based on the plan. Actually, it's a real building uh, by a company. They are working on it, and they have been supporting my student for doing this energy analysis. Okay. So here, the certain thermal properties for a building has to be checked, starting from roof, walls, partitions, floor, because these are the input has to be provided. For some glasses, double clear, single clear, some companies they have these U value and SHGC values. Okay, but some companies they don't provide. For some details, he has been referring to some literatures and some company website, and he's giving assuming values. So U value normally it's a thermal insulation performance, and SHGC is a solar heat gain. So like companies like Saint Gobain and most of the glass manufacturing companies, they provide this U value and SHGC's values. Okay, and lower the U value, the heat transfer is very less. If U value is more, there is very poor insulations. Whatever the exterior uh, like temperatures there, it is just pass inside. Okay, similarly for SHGC, where if it is low, it is less solar grain, and when it is high, it is more solar. Okay, and there's a coefficient like 0.13, 0.86 for different windows. So these as an input has to be given. So the earlier objective, just we are designing a building, okay, just nothing very uh, novel or something. We just want to try with composite structures in ETABS for a commercial building, and the same building has been modeled in Revit architecture tool. So this is how the BIM workflow initially with CAD plan, BIM as well as ETABS is done, then the energy settings in GBS, then Autodesk Insight, and finally the output. And most of the results, the Green Building Studio gave results, and parallelly the Autodesk Insight also gave results. Comparatively, there are huge changes, but the output of Autodesk Insights, they follow this Azure 90.1 provisions, which is like American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning engineers. So they provide a lot of guidelines. What is the EUI should be within a certain limits. If it is in a certain limit, it is better. Okay. And you can, when you're doing an analysis, if you use a single glass clear, the results will be different. If you use a double, triple, each and whatever materials, because in the commercial building, if you see mostly the exterior side will be like glassing, right? So when you do a small changes in the parameters, you get a huge changes, because some glasses will absorb more amount of heat, right? If more amount of heat, you need more number of energy, your air conditioning, and more number of people are visiting a commercial building, right? So everything finally that's relate with the energy. So these are some certain energy settings were given in Autodesk Revit. So basic HVAC, heat ventilation, air conditioning systems, the shade depth, the glazing details, the electric utility of the building. So these we are asking certain clients, and some values were taken from the literatures for similar building, similar, I think a 6-story building, which is done in, I think in Gujarat, another building. So we have referred to the literatures, and as approximately the value is more or less similar, that is also a commercial building. So we have referred that. And there's a website like BIM Object. There are so many websites. You can have a lot of glassing companies. They have uploaded their glasses over here, so that inbuilt itself certain properties were available. So you can directly use it in Revit files when you are using a Revit architecture. So that uh, so all these properties were inbuilt. Okay, like glassing, mostly related to glassing part, like this U value and SOGC values. And many companies, if you click this and go to the company website, and you can find those values, they have a data sheets, they have shared those details. So structural analysis results, obviously, it will be safe. We are designing for not simple static loading only. We have not considered the earthquake now. And displacement is also within the limit, shear, moment, and the efficiency of column and load combinations with dead load, live load, and wind load. So everything passes. Okay. And then we are moving to the energy analysis for the same building, which is already modeled in Revit architecture. We are going to Autodesk Green Building Studio. So here we can, as you see here, there are 5 regions. Okay, based on the climatic conditions, climatic zones, this building has been different, taken. So by doing this analysis, we are able to find the Assam. Okay, Assam, and we have seen another article where rotating the building in a different angle provide a different energy use intensity. Okay, but here we are not shifting the angle in different angles. We are just placing the building in a certain city, and we are just absorbing how much electricity cost annually. Okay, most of the results were annually. It is calculated in GBS, Green Building Studio tool. And comparatively, if you see these results, the Assam has the very lowest. Okay, comparatively than other places like Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Kolkata, West Bengal, and all. It's a similar overview representations where the highest is Gujarat and Chennai is little bit less, and then Kolkata, Delhi and Dispur is little bit fine. But there are different results. I have seen, uh, even if you are there in Delhi, because during my postdoc time at Delhi, I had a different climatic conditions. December time it is extensive like cold, and if you see somewhere around May, the climatic is totally different. But I think an Assam and all not had such huge changes. Okay. And annual energy cost breakdown comparatively for here you need to understand many researchers think if the energy is very less, the fuel cost. You may think, what is that fuel cost? Normally, if you see a commercial building, there will be boilers and a lot of electrical thing. Like because if the building is running for 12 hours or 24 or 18 hours, right? So it should have the electricity always. Okay. Maybe whatever because these software provide the fuel cost as well as the electric cost. And electricity cost, obviously, Tamil Nadu is higher, and the fuel cost, the Assam is higher. And here we'll be seeing about the life cycle cost as well as the CO2 emissions, the carbon footprint. This analysis also, if you see the Assam is better, it's somewhere around the cost wise. If you see, the Assam has a huge carbon for the building, and life cycle cost or the electric cost mostly if you see comparatively Assam is higher. It's like high fuel used to produce more CO2. So, and many researchers think, okay, EUI is very less. That means uh, the fuel cost is also will be very less. It's not like that. It is vice versa for this project. Maybe depends on the size. So many parameters are included. Different time, different dates. At which time we are analyzing the buildings. And because a lot of parameters, lights, miscellaneous equipment, space cooling, fans, pumps, space heating, a lot of parameters are included. So all these things, for some data we have given a default inputs, and for some we have given a real input how we can try to get, because researchers in Chennai and getting all the other different cities is not an easy task, but we tried our best. The thing is, the concepts like similar building can be analyzed. Okay, in case in future you are having a plan, based with the plan, if you like to do similar analysis for your city, for your building which you are planning to construct, these options are available. Okay. And here you will find the annual electric part, I think, for different like pumps, space heating, and space cooling for different cities. And here, comparatively for space cooling, Tamil Nadu is higher. And sometimes, if there is very heavy rain, the climate is very dark. Obviously, you need more number of lights to obviously to live, right? Sometimes suddenly there will be like huge rain or something, so the clouds will be very dark. So you will just switch on the light. So next is the part we are trying to work in Autodesk Insight. So here the building occupancy and the x-axis, if you see, some buildings operate 24 into 7. If the building operate in 24 into 7, how it behaves? 24 into 6 days, 24 into 7 days. So for this we have given 24 into 7 days, because most of the commercial building they run uh, like even shopping malls and other, even they don't have a holiday on Sunday, right? Because Saturday, Sunday it will be very busy. So we just assume this, but there are options. If you, for example, if you are uh, doing an analysis for a maybe a institutional building, maybe 12 into 5 is fine, right? 12 into 5 means normally people say like what 9 to 5 jobs, something like that, right? But really that may not happen. But these kind of options are available. Through that, the energy use were analyzed, like it shows somewhere around 228. And for different phase, you keep the building in Assam in different rotations for different 90 degrees. So you'll get to know and an average of somewhere around it is around 228. It's okay, but at 90 degree it is very less. Why? Because at various degree the from which direction the sun is acting, so that obviously if there is a good light, uh, we don't need an electricity, like we switch on the light, right? When the natural light is there, because the exterior part is mostly the glazing. And through this Azure package, so automatically, as you see here, the optimum lowest is for Azam, it's somewhere around uh, 138 for the heat pump, and for other elements like high efficiency of heat pump, because heat is one of the major parameter that determine the energy use. Okay. And in default also BIM has a options, and based on the various Azure provisions, so it is calculated, because when you are going for a certification for green building and certain times they ask these energy EUI values. And this is related to the window glass type, window height. So here the optimized one is triple low clear. So somewhere like this, I think, yeah, as you see in the picture on the right side, the clear, right? So this is the 3-layer glass. Because selecting these glasses is a task, like you have to go to various website and get the families. Many companies, they create these Revit family files and they kept in various websites like BIM object. There are so many websites, so you need to just search it and you have to identify. And some companies glass you are planning to purchase, you directly ask the companies to uh, get these glass details. Okay, what type of glassing you are going to use. As you see here, the EUI value has been increased when you use just a single clear glass. When you use double, then low clear, right? And in default, because many times we do some analysis, we just give a default. Better is don't give a default. Which glass which you are providing, that details if you are providing, you will get a better results. That's all. Rather than assuming everything with the default option will not work for every time, every projects. And this is based on the height, because window heights will not be the same, right? Different buildings, different height, based on the height of the building. Normally for commercial building, the height of each floors will be different. And some glazing I have seen, it's connections between 3, 4, 5 floors continuously. Okay, so there are panels easily connecting all these glasses. So based on the height also, it get varies the behaviors. So small window height, which is equal to less solar gain, which is equal to low EUI. Okay, so that's how the research is getting concluding. And through Azure 90.1 as well as this ARC 2030, they have a benchmark to reduce the energy. Okay, through various ways. The first most important thing is the building orientations. See, normally the conventional thing is you have a road, your home will have a front look, right? The elevations will be in the front. That's how it is. But these analysis sometimes will not work, because you turn around this building and the elevations will be in the backside or somewhere aside. But the clients will not prefer that, right? For small building doesn't matters, but for a large commercial building, which is running for nearly 18 hours or more than that, and some buildings, even some like office buildings, even they run a long time. So such buildings, if these orientations were turned around for certain directions, it can reduce. Okay, conventionally, if you are keeping in a certain directions, and if you're just rotating so a certain angle, you get certain amount of certain energy is getting reduced. Okay, even small parameters, because one building, if you are reducing certain amount of percentage, you think in a city having like 1,000 plus of buildings, it can reduce a huge amount of energy, and these energy can be used for various other purpose. And this ARC 2030 also, they are providing a benchmark that all this building has to be like having around 133 kilowatt hour per meter square per year. Okay, so it's around 228, comparatively a little bit near, and as per the Azure guidelines, it is fine, nearly because Azure guideline is 357. Okay, but as per the earlier slides, it is somewhere around 228. That is fine. That is a limited one. But the thing is, to reduce the energy, obviously, we are not going to keep construct all the building in Assam or other places. But wherever we are living, when we are getting a project for a building, we have to check these energy analysis to make the client to choose what type of glassing and how much energy that is producing in that building. And if you are reducing this options, if you use these types of glassing, these types of pumps, these types of, this much cost is going to be generated like annually, or this much emission is going to come. So when you give this information to the clients, okay, they may prefer, okay, if this is a thing, okay, to reduce, obviously it is benefit for them also. See, electricity is get reduced, obviously it is good for them also, right? So because some good brands, they keep their commercial building outlets in so many shopping malls or so many commercial areas. So comparatively than the same area in another building, they pay certain lakhs for electricity. And if they choose the building which you do the energy analysis and you optimize and try to reduce it, and for that building, if they spend a very less, obviously they prefer. See, I know a professor from electrical engineering. He's good at this green building energy analysis. So he he picked some laborers from uh, I think from north. He knows some laborers group, and he's doing construction in Chennai. And when he picked the client, he always talk about placing the solar, because even in Revit there is a solar based analysis is also there. Like, so he used to keep like, I'll keep solar, and like he always talk about the energy, and he's getting good number of projects. See, certain educated clients nowadays, they prefer to see these kind of results technically, and you, because you are modeling the building, analyzing it, and you present with them these datas, and you clearly say this much, if you are using this type of glassing, this you are using it, and you are going to save this much energy, the life cycle of the build, entire life cycle of this building, this much you are going to save. So the conventional builder who is not having these datas, then yeah, an architect or a engineers who is going to have these kind of datas. So obviously they will prefer this. And he used to said once, because of this green building and other things only, I'm able to get good number of projects, right? Because it's in a Chennai OMR, it's an IT corridor. Obviously they are highly educated people. They're so working in IT, so spending doesn't matter, but they they obviously know like what optimized product they need to use for their buildings. Okay, core elements in concrete, there is no compromise, but other parts, okay, the exterior thing. And another project I was discussing about, that is nearby the beach villa, they have mostly in the first floor fully surrounded by the glassing and all. So different buildings get different results, have a different orientations, and these results are helpful to the clients as well as for the engineers too. So the recommendation is, as per this study, if it is used like triple low clear glassing, the EUI will be almost 224. Okay. And the key conclusion for this content is, obviously the Assam is having the lowest EUI. Okay, as per the green building studio, having the climate moderate temperature somewhere around 24 to 33 degree as a low cooling demand. And obviously structure is safe. We do a analysis, simple static analysis in ETAPS. Okay, then obviously for just the behavior of a composite column system, the student would like to know. So it's done that, and as well as the same dimensions details were given in the Revit also. So there are options to create a new family, and he did those details. And obviously cooling, uh, like comparatively than Assam and Tamil Nadu, these are both different climatic zones. Okay, so whenever you create a new building, whatever may be the locations, there is a clear options, like you can directly click which locations you are planning to construct a building which you are modeled in Revit. So heat pump, the details for EUI, most this is related to the uh, Autodesk Inside, they have these options. Okay. and somewhere around 138 is the very lowest for Assam. And because the solar gain as well as the heat U value as well as the S coefficient, solar coefficients, if you are having a triple glazing, it is comparatively lesser for commercial buildings. Okay, this is only commercial building because and many researchers and publishing articles in these areas were very less, and many researchers think that doing research in these areas will not work much for publications. There are journals, architectural and engineering based journals are there, so you can give as a project to the students. So they do a basic analysis, structural design. Then for that building, maybe their home building wherever as an activity, they can do even many researchers and many industries, they use mostly Autodesk Insight. Okay, this Azure package is the most important thing. I think 90.1. Then green building studio, but this student preferably he want to explore green building studio also, because that is a both tool mostly used for energy analysis. Yes, explored, but Autodesk, uh, because Autodesk is a product where the green building, then Autodesk Insight is comparatively better. So preferably you get good number of results. Okay, and when you are having these kind of uh, glazing items, so maybe in engineers they may think like that is not relevant to that, because architecture mostly they decide these activities. But obviously as a civil engineers also, they could have known about different types of glass, the thickness, the shades, right? Then finally, if you are enabling these kind of optimizations for building, obviously the life cycle cost of that building is going to get reduced. Think if we are considering our own building, think you are having everybody has certain amount of crores, like 500,000, certain amount of crores, you are constructing certain commercial buildings. So obviously we used to explore these things, right? But for conventionally, if you see many industries, they are not exploring these activities. But nowadays, recent days, many countries they are exploring BIM. They have to do mandatory analysis of certain things. Some countries they implemented, but some countries, I think in Dubai and all, greater than 10-story height, it is mandatory. Many countries started implementing this. Okay, uh, because there are other benefits in uh, Revit tool like clash detections. Because there are various advantages, but here there is another option. Energy is also a separate options that also can be effectively utilized. Certain recommendations for maybe like architecture, engineering, construction industries. Like if you are using this kind of designing the construction, obviously we just design it, model it, right? Then for owners, obviously they should know about all these systems, how the uh, package is working, right? The Autodesk Insight, what type of EUI your building is going to get, and these details should be made as a policy. See how plan approval, how these things are happening, right? Mandatory plan approval for constructing a building. Similarly, if these are all made mandatory, obviously nearly 30-40 percentage of building is only creating more number of carbon emissions. So that can be reduced a little bit, right? The construction industries can reduce the part. Obviously, composite structures, steel plus RCC, and later one student was discussing, I like to try the steel RCC and the timber RCC and other elements for the same building, but it not worked. Like he in mid it went. So these are all some basic study where we can explore. Obviously, sustainability goal that is everywhere. It's a kind of buzzword. Energy sustainability is everybody's talking, and every research article title start with sustainable. Other than sustainable energy, the next most added title is machine learning, artificial intelligence, and these are all okay. So somehow you have to align with the recent trend, not only for research or publication, also for like I think most of the accreditations ranking always they started talking about this energy. I know there are companies do these kind of energy analysis for a building for an educational institutes, and they I think I don't know which accreditations it is mandatory, but they're making the energy details for those institutional buildings too. Okay, so for research community, this area also there is a huge scope. Think in a different perspective. There are so many parameters are there when you're giving us an input. Not only the locations, angle, so many parameters are there. You can create a different building, different model. You can closely work with an architect, and they have a different designs, different angle, because uh, their creativity, when it is merging with the civil engineers, it works well. So you can take such projects, and when you are working, it will be good. And these are some of the references. Most of the references, these are all were shared in the research article. So any queries, it is open. Second, there is a query. I have done actually related to these areas. I have done, I think, only two or three project research work we have did. So regarding the optimal gaps between triple layers window glasses to give the maximum heat, yes, as per the Autodesk Insights results, it is suggesting to have a layer will give a better results. Obviously, it will give better, but obviously when you need to check whether the economic perspective also for a building. And these analysis should be done in the very initial stage, so that uh, the cost also matters a lot, right? So when you create a plan immediately, if you do those all these analysis, so that you can make a like if you are doing analysis, if you want your building to be as a sustainable one, saving a lot of energy, electricity, boilers will generate huge. So all these things has to be reduced. These are all options. As a suggestions, you can give the clients. They are preferring this economic, like not a problem for them. Obviously, they can use certain glazing. Mostly glazing has a, because in concrete and other things you cannot uh, make much changes. But the exterior part, the glazing side, you can explore a lot. And I think here you have this article. So maybe while I'm sharing this presentation, I will share the research article also. Maybe whoever like to explore this article, you can just give a read. You will get little bit more information about this research work. And you can mail me. This is my mail ID, danielcruz@usm.my. If you like to interest to work, just find little bit of novel ideas. So maybe because these are all open source and easy to analysis, but some novel idea should be there. But this is a good scope, the new area where many researchers are working on. I've seen one article recently, just a single building in a single city, they just rotate with different angles, and they have studied, and different research works we can see. And one article like air traffic control unit, right? Air traffic control unit, hardly it will be 100 meter or more than that height. So there they will have a glassings. So that glassings energy analysis they have done, because it is open. If you see in the airport, if it is kept in somewhere, it is entire site is open. So different researchers think in a, like they explore. So this is also an area. And other than this, if you like to, because uh, because some students always they prefer to choose certain guide to work, right? So such a way this student came and he said like, I would like to learn and I want to choose you also. So somehow, and I also had a chance to explore about these areas. Okay, actually my area is related to mostly on construction material, like demolition waste, steel timber composites, vibration control devices using passive. But I had a chance to explore this area. It's a good area where uh, because some of the because the earlier institute where I'm working, there are faculties work in these areas, not civil engineer faculties, architectural faculties. They work on this area more. Okay, but at least if researchers in civil engineering discipline, if we explore this, there is a good options. Not only like for students to have a good career perspective, that they know these kind of details too. So any queries from participants related to this study?
Participants, you can ask doubt if you have any.
And as per the research perspective, I have seen some article, they focused on a certain regions, and in that regions they did a lot of other inputs like heat. They in some building in the top layer they added the solar panel, and that solar values were how the energy solar is creating, how much energy, those details. So there are articles you can find. Okay, good number of research works. They are exhibiting a lot of innovative stuff and analyzing the doing the energy analysis. You can try kind of a similar study even, like because that is a recent trend recently. uh, Researchers and even government is promoting to have a solar solar based energy. So in a building you can try, maybe you can obviously we are all become in different institute. You take a plan of your building, the school or a department building, and you can analyze, and without solar panel, with solar panel, and if with solar panel how much energy can be generated, and that energy details can be presented to your higher ups. And recently I am very like in the back set of me there is a lab where the top of the lab fully packed with solar panels. Many institute nowadays, as there are points, I think there are some points in some ranking systems, so that we can give a try in similar tool.
Could you
And
please throw light on the bamboo composite constructions, composite materials?
bamboo
Bamboo.
composite,
Bamboo can
yeah,
also be used. No?
yeah. There's a professor called Suresh Balla from IT Delhi. He works extensively in this bamboo. During my postdoc time, there is a heavy structures lab. I had a chance to explore these structural elements, the bamboo based beams, columns, and various structural elements. They are doing a research study, and bamboo based composite also. Outside will be bamboo and inside will be concrete, and there are extensive studies were done that can be used. But the certain drawback is not a drawback. The shapes of bamboo which is really used, uh, the thickness, dimensions are, because small structures it is good, okay, for small structures, but for a larger structure, uh, because you get an eye sections in a specific dimensions, it, that dimensions you can because bamboo is a very natural made, like, so if you get the dimensions it is better. You can have a certain eye sections like steel bamboo composite, or uh, bamboo and concrete composite. That's a good area to study. Okay, there are researchers, there are centers purely work with bamboo. uh, in India, exploring this bamboo based research is, I feel a little bit less. Very few researchers extensively working, not, but some companies are, because the main problem in real time practical thing is the treatment of these seasoning of woods is a problem. Seasoning, like the bamboo woods, it undergo to various treatment or seasoning process, so that it will not be affected by termites or warping, knots. It should not be affected by any other defects. And some members maybe we may not see, because we just see the exterior sides. Like inside, if there is any other defects, we may not know that there are certain drawback in wooden based structures. That is a reason in countries like Australia and other countries, they always prefer this cross laminated timber or glulam or certain other based timbers like engineered wood, because when you have a engineered wood you don't have these kind of issues much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the insightful
Thank you, madam.
session.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Ms. Jisha Akara, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, to deliver the words of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Jyothi ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for sharing your novel research findings with us. We really appreciate the concept of sharing how the AutoCAD data can be converted into real energy analysis using BIM, and your explanation of the analysis considering the different factors like climate, cooling demand, design choices, the window glasses, glass tape and shadings, etc. That was really informative for us, and we truly really enjoyed the learning from your knowledge and experience, and that was very engaging session for all of us. And we also sincerely thank you for offering your guidance and cooperations for to those who are working in this area. And we are really grateful for the time and effort you took to share these valuable insights or the research findings to us. And thank you once again for being with us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. And once again, I'd like to thank the organizing team, starting from higher ups, from principal, head of the department, and other coordinators, for organizing similar events now as well as in like future and all. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good day. Thank you.
Okay, have a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all. A mock test on NBA will be conducted shortly. The time duration will be from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. and the instructions will be available through WhatsApp and email. All the participants, please check your mail and WhatsApp for more details. Thank you all.